Hey guys, what's up? So we're gonna be playing with NixOS again. I'm actually nervous about this for the first time since I started. This could actually fail. I'm walking into some untested territories. I'm a little in over my head still. I have a good understanding of how flakes are used, but I am worried that they're a little bit too powerful in terms of deploying an OS, right? So I've actually created an 8 GB drive here tonight, and it's underneath this same operating system that you've seen before. However, I do want to warn you, I've made a few changes since last week. Just trying to understand flakes. I had to be in the operating system, right? I had to work around. I actually think I did two different builds of both window or home manager and the environment itself. So I actually have done some offline stuff since the last video for the first time in this series so far. So that being said, I haven't done so much that I can't explain it or show the process here. So I've got some stuff logged in. Let's just go ahead and send a good old-fashioned reboot to the terminal here. I should have probably just not exited that terminal, but that's okay. I like to call it from the command line anyway. Alright, so we're just going to boot a fresh system. So I do have the my latest profile that I built from, I think it was the environment, the NixOS rebuild command. I gave it a tac p, which allows you to set a profile name, and I just set it to Mac because I want this profile to also encompass home manager in the end. I'm kind of jumping ahead, but because I have this window open and because I have some bookmarks here, this is something that I want to go ahead and add to this flake. So if that looks complicated, it's because it is, but we're going to get to that later, whenever we actually walk through the situation. So this is the latest configuration. This is the one that I've actually built out to a flake, right? And so we're going to walk through that process, and then eventually we're going to follow the same steps that we did in the second video of this series to put the to open gpart and put this build of engine, or I always call it Nginx for some reason, but NixOS. I'm so used to working with Nginx. For some reason, those two just cross streams in my mind. So this is the build that I hope to achieve by having produced this flake that we're going to walk through and then install onto a fresh NixOS out of the box kind of experience. So hopefully it works. Like I said, I'm pretty nervous about this. It could fail spectacularly, or if it works, it's going to be super fun to capture live as it happens during the month of the NixOS Challenge. So once again, the NixOS Challenge was something that was kicked off by Jupiter Broadcasting. Chris is kind of kicking the tires on NixOS, and he, kind of like the Arch Challenge back in 2012 or whenever that was. It was so long ago. A bunch of the members of the community jumped onto Arch Linux at the time. A bunch of the community is now jumping onto NixOS, trying it out for the first time. And holy cow, do I have stories to tell about how this experience has gone. Outside of this operating system, I have gotten way too attached to Haskell and figuring out that language, because that seems to be maybe the key to understanding how this operating system works. So I won't talk too much about that, but maybe near the end we'll talk about my my experiences with Haskell recently, and maybe we'll even try to write some Haskell from some tutorials, or we'll go through some of the resources that I found about Haskell. So if you are as interested as me about NixOS, and then even further are a super geek about expressive languages such as Haskell. Like functional programming is maybe where it's at, and you don't have to be an academic to figure it out, turns out. So I'll talk about all those resources at the end of this stream as well, because I'm very excited about Haskell. I'm very excited about NixOS, and holy crap, this is a new way to think about both programming and like declaring an environment over like manually configuring it. I do have an old, like from 2013, 2014, like I have this old Google document that I might jump through at the very end as well, that goes over the steps that I always took to set up a new Arch Linux box. Those steps were very involved, so it's really fun to see those steps written out as a list, kind of like what we're seeing in the NixOS configuration.nix file. So without further ado, I do want to just go ahead and jump right into the situation I have here. So right off the bat, what I've added today, like right before this stream, is a way to communicate between my host OS, which I'm using Windows, let's be honest. I'm just using Windows because I play a lot of video games. And we have a slash mount share, right? Permission denied, but it exists. So this is where I have everything backed up to. If anything goes wrong tonight, I have all these files backed up. These are the only ones that I've written to. These are the only files that matter, right? This is the directory that I've been writing to, just copied over to a C:\share directory on my computer, and that's all that is. So I'm going to jump into this, not in Vim for the first time. I've actually made a separate scene for OBS here to, VS Code. That was about to get really messy. I clicked the wrong one. So I have a nice scene for a weight on my screen. This is way too big, but for you, this is perfectly sized. So I'm going to sit back just a little bit probably to read this. Nice color coding. I can click around. I can highlight, right? It's just a better environment to show off the different files. There's different tabs here. Better than for demonstration. Vim is great for text editing. It's my preferred text editor, but for demonstration purposes, this is going to be where it's at. So this is the configuration.nix file that I have been working on for this series. And because I know that people, especially in a live stream environment, maybe have never seen the previous videos that I've been making, we're just going to walk through this. I've discarded most of the comments that didn't matter, that is, and I've left the comments that do matter, of course. And then this is something that's different from last time. Last time I did not have this. I did not enable flakes from last time. But I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. If you go into, is it even here? Let's make sure it's here. Nix flakes and how to use them, I think is probably where it's at. I think this person goes into detail about how to set up the flake itself. I'm not sure if this is actually it, but I have a lot of resources cooked up in this little tab up here. So I should probably eventually go ahead and put those in the description fully. But for now, I just have a couple of links in the description. I hope people kind of find these on their own. Unfortunately, the situation with NixOS is that a lot of things are hosted on like blog websites and stuff. It's also true about Haskell. A lot of things are hosted on blog websites, which is not easy to aggregate. So from here, we are going to go ahead and jump back into this code. Oh, you didn't see any of that. I am so sorry. That's okay. There wasn't actually anything there, I don't believe. So I was going to pull up the section of article that I read that'll tell you why to put this into the config, right? It's just basically enabling an experimental feature that gives the Nix command flakes. So we're going to use that in a little bit here. This is the same as before. I've just shortened it up a little bit. What this is doing is it's importing the hardware configuration that is written whenever you run the NixOS generate config command, or I believe that's what it's called, for the first time. And this is where my boot environment goes. Just grub. Right now, a UEFI will come later whenever I actually install this on my laptop or a different set of machines, something like that. For now, my host name is just NixOS, easy enough. America, Chicago for the time zone. These are all, by the way, just populated for you for the most part. You just have to uncomment them from the start. None of this was handwritten except for this Nix expression up at the top. We're going to jump right back down to where we were. Use DHCP for some reason needs to be enabled as false. I think that's for wireless, and then you just specifically declare the interface, the Ethernet port, to use DHCP to equal true. I think that's for security purposes. And then under Xserver enable, obviously I wanted the Plasma desktop environment, so we installed from the Plasma variant of NixOS, the second video, SDDM and Plasma 5 enable equal true. I think I need word wrap enabled. We'll go ahead and enable word wrap there. Services equal, or Xserver layout equals US, so we make sure to get the US environment. Sound is enabled to true. Sound enable equals true. And then we have two users. Remember, we set up a Mac user, that's my user, and then a Nano user, which was just kind of a funny joke, but really turned out to serve a purpose. So the Nano user has no access to sudo, right? It's not part of the wheel group. It is not part of the super user group. And we've also set both of them to password, a very secure password. Since this isn't actually poking out to the internet, I feel like that's fine. In the future, whenever I actually do deploy this, obviously going to be different than password. But even for a first password, initial password, an initial login, you're not actually probably going to be on a network unless you are. So it doesn't even really matter that you change that, to be honest, unless it does matter, right? You know that. So environment.systempackages with packages, this is the key term, so you don't have to type in packages dot, right? So the basic environment gets only these three tools. I think Nano should also receive Vim. Nano is installed by default with NixOS, so you don't have to declare it here. wget, I believe curl is also installed by default. Don't quote me on that, but I figured all users should have access to a web browser. That's basically like what I would consider to be like the start of a kiosk environment, right? But with NixOS, it's kind of hard to do that, as we found out with the last video, because every user can basically do what they want in their own environment. It's kind of like a classic shell environment in that case. And then I did enable SSH, couldn't get it to work, so not going to worry about that. But it is enabled. I did try to use password authentication, and it still didn't work for some reason. So I'm not going to worry about that right now until it does become pertinent for my actual like day-to-day. But for now, I could basically omit that, and it would be fine. It would be I would probably be just fine with that. So taking this is the configuration file that we've been using to rebuild NixOS every time. This is the Flake. So it's much smaller, obviously. It's only a few nests of these brackets, right? So I took this from, let me pull this back up now. Let me pull up a thing. I want to make sure to get into the workspace again. Let me pull up a thing. We'll come back to this, but I want to pull up a thing real quick. So the NixOS Flake template, I do believe, is where I want to go. I haven't made notes for this for the first time. I'm just like winging it today. So these are the commands that you want to follow for for like basic Nix or Flake stuff, right? You initialize the Flake templates. I didn't use a template. I used a. We're going to go through that. I used a dot for this Nix, this flake.nix file, and then the shebang, or the crunch, or whatever you want to call that. It's not got a bang, so it's a crunch, I guess. But this pound sign plus the name of the environment is what we're actually is actually how we're going to use this in the end. So this is actually talking about templates a little bit, but you can see this is kind of how that file looked in that last look at that VS Code tab. I don't know that this is going to give us exactly what I'm looking for. That's why I'm kind of scrolling through it quickly. I'm going to go back through here. I don't recall. Back to Flakes. I don't recall. Okay, here we go. This is what we added to the top of our configuration.nix earlier. This is the only extra thing that you probably expected or didn't expect to be in that configuration.nix if you have been following along with these videos / streams. Basically, this is how you can install Flakes. It's literally just a system-wide installation here. And then let's see here, go down a little bit further, down a little bit further. I believe this is it. Using Nix Flakes rebuild, NixOS rebuild switch will read its configuration from etc NixOS flake.nix if it's present. A basic NixOS flake.nix could look like this. So this is as basic as it needs to get, right? And that's we're going to go back and you're going to see that's basically what I had. I'm going to see if I can copy this. Does it just copy? Because I messed up this workspace earlier. We're just going to go right back over. We can't just paste it in here as a reference. Oh yeah. So if you I might even be able to do this on the fly just barely by the skin of my teeth. If I do a quick color correction and I give it some opacity, does that help our case? It really doesn't. So we're going to go back on that. But we tried. That's all I can say about that. So I'm going to take that right back off. Delete. So we're just going to scroll through this real quick and check our build after it. So the set here contains outputs, which is also it takes self and Nix packages, which is I believe the operating system is what it's calling, self. And then Nix packages is our set of Nix packages that we've had in our Nix store is what I'm expecting. Maybe it's the actual Nix packages repo. Maybe you would have to declare your own set of Nix packages as a different variable. That could be the case. But in any case, we get into it, and the Nix configuration / your username equals the system specified as the x86 64 Linux. That's where you can specify an ARM platform or a 32-bit, I guess, or something else. And then basically all it does from there is from Joe's desktop, it calls these modules, which is only the configuration.nix in my case. So I'm going to go back in here and take that off. And then from this, it's actually pretty much the same. The only difference is the description for the Flake itself, and then a Nix packages repo. And it pulls down the NixOS 2111, which is what this system was built with, so why not? And then the Nix packages is actually declared there, so it's more explicative. And then NixOS equals this thing, right? Nix packages.lib. NixOS system is a set that contains the system x84 says underscore 64-Linux, only containing my module, which I've created that folder structure that we talked about in the very first video. And we tried to recreate in the second video, and we didn't quite get there because of GitLab. But now I've kept the folder structure, and I've used the share folder as kind of my like quote unquote GitLab instance or GitHub instance, right? So I'm just using that as like a test bed for now until I can build a system that actually has the right key for my GitHub or whatever it turns out to be, and then can push from there. But right now I'm just trying to build up a system that works. Not worry about so much about the implementation right now. So I think we're about ready to just go ahead and call the Flake function, right? So let's go back to our workspace here. Right back into it. If I can, there's so many tabs. So I did give my my user a little dinosaur with a guitar. That's so cool. Thought that was legit. I think that's even a bass. It looks like it's got only 4 strings on it to me. That's legit. I play the bass and on all sides. That's the band you were hearing at the front of the show. Simple password. Password? Alright, and so let's see, what did I do before? I have a bunch of stuff here. Copied a bunch of stuff. So we're just going and doing things. So this is now the command that I run to rebuild, right? The NixOS. Actually, it's missing something. Switch. So that's actually how I declared that profile in the grub menu. By calling something like this, sudo nixos-rebuild, switch, and then attack P with your profile name, with attack capital I, nixos-config equals a location from this folder, right? So I'm in the home folder, and from there you can give it the config, which is in documents right now. No? Yeah. I should be in documents. So I kept all this stuff in documents because Nix laid out a nice like layout for us. I figured I shouldn't add anything into home/Mac itself unless it was like a capital letter, or you know, that seemed fine, but I didn't. So it's in documents / what did I call it? Flakes, capital Flakes. Maybe it could have been in /home/Mac, but that's okay. But anyway, if we do call this, we could call this, and it would just go ahead and rebuild the system and insert a new revision under the profile of Mac, I do believe. So we could try that reboot, but I'm not going to go ahead and do that unless it's pertinent. But what I do want to do from here is the Flake. So here's my generations. We're currently on generation 4. And let's go way back now again to Flakes. Where are they at? So I was trying some of those activations. They didn't really seem to work. But the Flake is called with this function, or I guess it's a command. I don't know why I'm calling them functions. I've gone so deep into Haskell recently, it's ridiculous. So nixos-rebuild double dash Flake. And then the period crunch equates to, like, I think this directory, and then crunch without a like tag on it is just this. It looks for this host name, so it's going to look for NixOS, and then it calls the build command. I think that's correct. So this build. Issuing this build command gives you a results folder. I'm not going to do it right here, but I am going to try and... Can I copy it? Will it let me copy it? I bet it will. Alright, so we're going to do that. CD into documents. CD into Flakes. Alright, so this is where all my stuff's at. Play. Oops, that's going to open up something that I didn't want. Nix. Okay. So again, we called kind of we maybe could have declared like a more permanent path for this, but that's okay. I figured I would only ever call this Flake from this directory anyway, but maybe I'm wrong. It's okay. I'm not building like a permanent structure here. I'm building something to play with, and then later on I can give it more roots on my more permanent system. Obviously, I'm playing in a VM, and that's not ever going to be permanent unless it's like on a KVM switch or something. But in any case, the big part here is NixOS, right? Is equal to all this. So all this stuff here in these two brackets. So NixOS is what this thing is looking for. So whenever you call, let's just see if I can get this to go back in there. NixOS equals or rebuild Flake. You could, oh goodness sakes, you could what is happening? Paste, please. Enter. Oh goodness. Leave us. Don't do this. Okay, interrupted by the user. Don't you love this? Okay, so you could go back up to this command and type in after here NixOS, right, as the host name. Or if you had another host name like NixOS laptop, right, it would look for that in that Flake, is how I understand it to work. And then if you do something with this dot, you can get it to do other things. Is that how it works? That's what they were talking about up here, is like those templates. Is that looking? Yeah, you're looking at that. Cool. I'm still pretty lost. I'm gonna be real. I'm still pretty lost about its Flakes. I'm just trying to do my best here. But not showing me. I think that was the other page that I was on. So if we go to this, and we go to Home Manager Flakes. No, that's for later. We're going to try that at the end. Novice Nix Flake. This was the one. So if we go down to some of these templates, it was pretty deep in here, I thought. How you call them? Maybe I just glazed right over it. Yeah, so like you can call whatever this is, templates, or okay, here we go. So you can give it a GitHub, so it can fetch from GitHub. That's right. So you can get your package from like or you can host yours under like your name / templates, and then a crunch, and then your host name, right? So you can pull from a GitHub, like a GitHub repo. You're basically creating a GitHub repo. And yeah, now that I have like forgotten and now recalled that, you can also cache your own NixOS packages, your Nix packages repo, on Cachix or whatever it's called. So that's another thing too. If you have special packages, which I imagine most of us might in the end, you can go to this Cachix binary cache platform and get going on your Nix packages cache and host your own thing. That seems like down the line, like maybe in a month or two, maybe I can look into something like that. But it seems cool. So I'm getting off in the weeds. I'm going to go ahead and go back to this terminal here, NixOS-rebuild command, and then we actually are going to try and see if it finds NixOS laptop. See what happens whenever we type that. So Flake does not provide attribute for the NixOS-laptop. How interesting is that? That's because we haven't actually declared it. And so if we actually were to type in just NixOS, surely that works, right? NixOS, yeah, built. So we're going to go and just .crunch, which is the easiest way, right? And that should do the exact same thing. So that's building the system configuration. And it shouldn't have updated much because I haven't done anything. But it gave us this result folder. And honestly, I don't know what I'm doing with that. I'm going to try and do something with that right now. We're going to take about 2 or 3 minute break, and we're going to go ahead and try some with that, because I feel like this is where the things break, if it breaks. If it does break, we're in good hands. But NixOS is wild, and I don't know what I'm doing sometimes. We're going to have some fun with it. See you in a couple minutes. Oh! Quick break.
You know, videos don't have to. I'm being watched. Let's go. Yeah. Hey. You're gonna want to get this on camera. Like, you know, there's cameras down there, right? I'm like, hey, I'm looking at it. Yeah. See that bird? I see it. It's more like a eagle. Yeah, takes more power. So, right when it drops in.
If I use something like this closer up,
Sepia shit?
yeah. What if I use this
What if you get a little closer to the camera and you just sing?
Oh, like right.
Oh, okay. That'd be cool.
That's what we needed.
That's what we needed. Okay, and we are kind of back so far. We have not done much. I've done a lot of talking to avoid this part. I don't know if it's going to work. I love doing things untested. It's my favorite thing. So we're here to see how this works. In my opinion, this is going to be fun. This is what I'm here for. I didn't mean to do that. We're going to click this button instead. Do I even have gparted? Goodness sakes. Let's add that to Home Manager. Let's just have fun with it. Let's add that to our configuration file. And because we want that to be available for, well, we really only want that to be available for Mac, to be honest. So, well, let's do that then. It's going to be vim config nix packages home.nix, and under here we're going to do a quick. Is it just gparted? Pretty sure it is. That should work. Home Manager. Switch. How about I spell it right? That works whenever you spell it right. So this shouldn't take too long. Just going to download gparted real quick. Oh, yeah, you need GTK staff. That actually didn't take too long. Okay. Well, is gparted here now? Cool. And not open display. Oh, I don't have GTK themes. Oh. Well. Can I add that? Because there was a thing to add that. GTK themes. In the NixOS, NixO. Search. Where did I have the search? Is this it? Is this the search? Okay. GTK. Can I do KDE GTK? Does that work? Probably. No. That seems impossible to find. Let's do a quick Google search for it. GTA. Nice. GTK. NixOS. KDE. Enable GTK themes in KDE. Okay. Oh, redirect. Okay. So we should just have to go ahead and add this. So let's open that in Firefox so we don't have to type it. We probably should type it. I'm going to type it. That seems like a lot to type, and I could probably get it wrong. I still haven't figured out how to copy paste for some reason from the host OS. NixOS seems to not allow it by default, and I've never actually worked with, not worked that closely with VirtualBox, so I don't know a whole hell of a lot about it. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and use this environment to copy paste. Copy. Oh, but where? Oh, but where? So, let's go into Vim. Well, we have it up here, a few places. To our home. No, let's not put in Home Manager. Let's put it. It's actually part of KDE, so let's put it in the CD. Oh, Mac. Documents. Flakes. Mac. What else was there? Not SSH. What else was there? Yeah, config, obviously. Lost the last little thing I was thinking of. Okay, so put that in. Is there another environment? Environment. Environment dot. Yeah, we'll put it down below this, I think. It seems like you probably could go ahead and put everything together there, but I don't know exactly how, so we're just gonna... Oh great, it's read-only. Love it. Love to see it. Okay. If I could spell. You can never spell. You always see people on YouTube that can never spell. It's because they're on YouTube for some reason. You can't spell on YouTube. It's the only time I can't spell. Oh yeah, I said I was going to not write this, but I did. Remember, like I said before, you should probably always write things that you don't fully understand so you can kind of get a gist of how to understand them. These are just too complicated, so we're just going to read them. Export to our GTK path and our GTK2 RC files. The GTK path, GTK RC files, and then packages.oxygen_GTK. Both of those. I guess these are probably just like these are just it's finding the package itself, inserting the package name as a part of the path here to get to a lib/gtk2 folder, and then to a the same thing to the share themes oxygen. Okay, so it's putting the theme into this folder here. So that's what we know about it. Easy enough. I'm just going to copy this stuff because it is a little too much to go ahead and write out. I do feel like I would make one or two typos, because like I just said, you always make a mistake. So am I in insert mode? Okay. Then paste. It should have worked. Did it work? Looks like it worked. Why is it purple though? Let's delete some of this stuff. I think it duplicated some of our work. So, yeah, it did. So, let's do something like that. It's got word wrap on, so that's why we have that RC down there. That's fine. Everything seems to be in line otherwise. And now if we rebuild the system, which has to come from that weird, I think I can remember it. It is going to be sudo NixOS rebuild switch tech p. Did I capitalize it? Mac? I think I did. And then maybe I didn't. Oh good. Then we capital I. Well, this one's going to be capitalized. I don't really care that much. I mean, I guess it makes things dirty. If it doesn't, well, if it does, like add generations, I really should just figure this out real quick. If I used a capital or not. It's not going to take that long. Just a bunch of taps. Yeah, I used capital. Okay, so we're going to do this exact thing here. But now, we actually need to be See if I can't just copy this. Oh, good. Glad I couldn't. Just copy. Oh wait, it did give me the line somehow. That's fine by me. And so what we're gonna do from there is just cd out one directory. Because we need to be here and replace that result file, I think. This. No, not yet, but that's where I'm gonna work from. I don't know why I did that. But that's fine. Fine. Copy this. Paste it here. Once again, we are rebuilding the Mac profile with this configuration ./Mac configuration.nix, which is what we just appended with this file to the right of your screen, with the GTK themes path. Should be easy enough. Should be easy enough. I hope it works. Oh, good. What am I missing? So because of the copy paste, I do believe there's a problem. Already defined. System packages already defined. Okay, 91.5. That makes sense because there's two. Well, that's too bad. Sudo vim-mac configuration.nix. We got to figure out how to put these together. System packages equals. I see. Okay, so let's fix this then. This needs to come down, is what it is. Just do that now. I think that's how they want us to do it, and then since we've done that, we can fix that problem if we don't mess up with pkgs. Okay, that should work. That should be what they want. Oh, good. And I kind of breezed through that, actually, it feels like, so that's good. What I did there was, I noticed that, okay, what's happening here? Oxygen GTK doesn't seem to exist in a defined variable. Oh no. So it didn't work. How to fix this? Packages.nix flakes. Nope. Oxygen. Okay, so what is wrong here? Maybe we don't need to do this anymore, since we have with packages. Let's just see. Hopefully I'm right. Maybe not. Oh no, what's happening? Oh no. So I'm glad that I have a backup. So I'm going to start over. I feel like maybe I copied something wrong. So I'm going to copy from mount share configuration. Does that work? What's in here? Nothing? Oh. Does you have to sudo that? Next to Mac configuration.nix configuration. Okay, that should work. Now if we van back into that, it's back to normal, luckily. So let's do Oxygen GTK first. Let's just see if that builds. because it was like starting to freak out on that, and then everything went haywire. It was like, hey, I don't understand even like the experimental package anymore. That freaked me out. So now it's building, and we should have a second generation of Mac profile open. What's going on here? Undefined variable oxygen decay. I don't know if it's that worth it, I guess, is it? Games in, can I just do that? Because I don't know if that's what you want to do. I don't know if that's what you want to do. Could I even just copy all those? That'd be cool. I don't think that's a folder yet. Yeah, too bad. Very interesting. What is the problem? Set oxygen GTK as the GTK theme. Create the following and make it an executable. In .kde environment, set GTK theme.sh. So, not necessarily what I want to do to the operating system, though, because it's not reproducible. That's the whole point of this. Reproducibility, says title. Didn't that work though? Just install it. Let's search that. Search that. Let's not sit here and wonder. Let's go way back to that. This to the search. I don't know how that didn't end up going to search anymore, but it didn't. So we're gonna do oxygen GTK. No packages. So this is for real. For real, for real. No packages called this. I'm baffled. You know what we can do? We could just reinstall. Actually, let's try a cooler. Let's try a cooler thing. Let's try to install like Cinnamon. Does Cinnamon exist? NixOS Cinnamon desktop. How do I get Cinnamon? Is that even a thing anymore? I haven't used Cinnamon in maybe like 5 years. Got failing, fixed it. So let's try that. That could be fun. Okay, and because that will give us a GTK desktop, and then it'll add to our generation. We'll have to reboot, and we'll check our generations again. Oh, oops! I'm rebuilding. I don't want to rebuild. Vim big. Okay, so let's go down to our services. So that's our Plasma. Delete those. Why doesn't that work? Okay, we'll just do it that way. That's fine. And let's delete this too, because it's not working anyway. I'm not using a touchpad here, and I have a backup for that. All right, so we're going to replace this entirely. Services x server equals enable, true, lib input, enable, is false, display manager dot light DM, enable, is true, so we're going to use light DM, desktop manager equals cinnamon dot enable equals true, display manager default session equals cinnamon. So that should give us what we want, and we're going to go ahead and rebuild using that configuration. Goodness sakes, I knew that would have a problem. Can't believe it. Services does not exist. Definition values. Why doesn't any of this stuff seem to help? Like, it all makes perfect sense whenever I'm like writing it, and then suddenly you write it and it doesn't seem to work. Let's see if we have to be more specific. Did I spell it wrong? Yeah. Oh, I love that. Okay. I love being wrong. Let's see if it works this time, just with a simple typo. How funny. This is what I mean, though, but whenever you get on YouTube, you start making typos. So this should give us like a GNOME desktop. Oh yeah, it's still got the oxygen problem. We'll take that out of there. Hopefully this works though. It might take a minute to build this out whenever it starts. Like as much as I've seen the Nix syntax, like that seems like it should do exactly what we want it to do. Now that I'm reading it, like I can't tell you off the top of my head how it should be structured, but whenever I read it like that, it looks pretty close to what you would expect it to look like. Hopefully this works. Please build, please build. Oh, good. So this might take a minute, so I'm just going to go ahead and move it on to the other screen once again. The cool screen with the music behind it.
is done boiling. The Joker is toiling. It was just a dream, you see. It's not that bad. In fact, it's even better than it used to be. You see, Look at us, these are our lives. Uncreative. The humble truth is what they hide. Unperceptive. Why are we to take it? Let it die. So I can fake it. I know that sounds so cliche, but I just wanna take away the pain. Cubicle computer screen array, inglorious. Consume obey to what they say.
Okay. Sorry, that took a minute. One more second. Alright, so the delay was actually because, you know, Jesse came in. Welcome, Jesse.
How's it going?
We're right in the midst of it. I put this off for so long, man. I meant to do this like maybe 45 minutes ago. I can't even type stuff because I'm on YouTube. When you're like, oh, I might be caps locked. Unlocking failed. That can't be right. That's really strange. That unlocking failed. That makes me nervous. It makes me extra nervous. Quite nervous. Well, did stuff break while we were gone? Virtualbox likes to break sometimes, so I'm gonna go ahead and send it the good old reboot from I'm gonna send it the old reboot from Virtualbox itself. I'm gonna get crazy for just a second. We fixed that before it got too crazy. Send it the old shutdown. And we'll go right back to our workspace. So I've pulled up the comments here real quick. Got some good ones from some spammers. I love to see it. Love to see that. Favorite. We'll go ahead and pull that up. Full screen on my screen. Make sure we get that. In our peripheral at all times. And good old spam. So once again, back on topic. I'm going to go ahead and rebuild this system. I feel like I'm way off track right now, because this just didn't seem to work. It's powered off fully, so let's give it the reboot. I meant to give it the reboot and fully shut it down. That's what threw me off. So let's see what this profile looks like now. Let's see what all configurations look like. We have a 5th generation there, which probably is the Mac profile, I would assume, and then there's 2 generations of Mac. Okay, so no, the 5th one would be the last one that I did before I tacked the P on there. So configuration 2 is what we're going to boot from, which would have been probably the default one that I would try to boot from anyway, I would imagine. I don't know what happened with that last thing. Hopefully this worked. Okay, so light DM came up. Maybe we just needed to give it a solid reboot. And this looks like Cinnamon's going to boot for us. It's cool. See if we get the bar. I don't know how Cinnamon looks these days. Like I said, I haven't used it in a long time. But it should be a classical GTK experience. That we should be able to run gparted in. That was like the whole point. We're trying to run gparted here. Hey, did that make noise? Nice. This looks cool. It's been a while since I've had Cinnamon. This is what I used to run on my laptop full time as a Cinnamon desktop on Arch. It was really fun. So let's just pull up gparted and see if that came up. Different terminal. Cannot open display. Okay, that's fine. At least it didn't say that it couldn't be opened. Is it doing it this time? Looks like it is. The whole point of coming over to Cinnamon was to get gparted. That's hilarious. I could have gone through the parted steps, but who wants to do that again? I guess while that's loading, if it is loading, hopefully it is loading, I'll go through and show you the block that I laid out. It's only 8 gigabytes this time. That's what we're going to install to this time. It's going to be 2 gigabytes of swap, 6 gigabytes of root, and then we're just going to do the NixOS generate config and replace that config with our config from or actually no, I think we're just going to copy the init from the Flake. Oh goodness sakes. I think that's what we're in about here. Is gparted going to boot? Oh no. Please tell me it will. Oh, I would love for it too. After all this time. I love booting it twice and seeing what happens. This can't be good now. No matter what. Now that you boot it twice. That's okay. We can always go through the parted steps. I have those too. Just unfortunate to have to do that. Go back to... I have to go and hunt it down here. And even further in my notes. Isn't as easy as you would think it would be. Did I keep my parted? No, because I always expected to use gparted from here on out. Unfortunate. So, let's see if that is ever going to load. I don't think it will. Have no fear. We can boot the base medium. So we'll do that. It's always a good thing to have a backup plan, and so we do. And we'll go right back to VirtualBox. Where is